All right, we are live on Falco K9 News Show, and this is going to be the first time where we're using this technology. So as people are logging on and getting on to the Google Hangout, which is inside our Facebook page, this is the new technology. I'm using something that will allow us to broadcast live within Facebook. Now, Facebook has a Facebook Live program. Yeah, turn the volume off. I just wanted to be able to make sure and see I was there. Now, Facebook has a Facebook Live app, or part of the actual Facebook that you can just click on and go live. But in this new technology that I'm using, it allows us, and I believe that Sally and Gina are on board here. Let me just see if I can bring up the chat. If you guys want to go ahead and chat. I thought I had it on here. Let's see. Let's make sure. So let me try to enable that. I'll just type hello. But if it's Sally and Gina that's on, I'm more than happy to talk to you about the technology, why we would use this instead of Facebook Live. Now, when we're marketing within Facebook, there's so many tools that you can use to target specific audiences. And so in the app that I'm using, which is called 22 Social, it allows us to capture people's information who are interested in what it is we are doing. So as we did that, the giveaway, the sweepstakes that's on there with the Hurricane, and as we're doing these live broadcasts, and they're going to be marketed as news features, which I'm going to do a news thing here in just a minute as I click off of the page that I'm on. In, and what it does, it captures all your information within Facebook. Now, when we go to market, whether it's our live pet obedience classes or our membership sites, when we set up our ads and marketing on Facebook, you can do like audiences. So what it does, it reads the information of people who have logged into our sweepstakes, into our live broadcast like this one, and it creates a vision, not a vision. What's the word I'm looking for? It creates an audience based on who it is that's already logged into our stuff. So it replicates. It looks for people that are very similar to the people who have logged into our stuff. So this is very, very powerful stuff. And so for us to be able to saludos. Somebody says saludos and says hello on our Google Live and YouTube. And so this is just great marketing tools that we have in here. We're going to provide good information. We're going to provide good content that when they do log on, that we're going to be able to help them with something or discuss something with them. But this is just really, really cool technology. So what I wanted to do was test this with you guys to make sure that it's working. And the first time that my very first test that I did here, there's a delay as it goes over to the from Google Plus over to the platform. I think there was a delay, and also I didn't refresh my screen over here on my iPad, which you can't see, it's off camera here, but there was a delay. And so when I was trying to make sure the settings were set up the way they were supposed to be, of course I clicked myself off. So if you wouldn't mind, if you could go ahead and find the place where you would chat or send me a message, it would be great if you could send me a message to make sure that all that's working. Again, this is more a test than anything else to make sure that I'm able to utilize all the tools and things that are available to me. Now, what's interesting is there are some other tools that I can't seem to find right now that were available early on, and now they're not. So I'm not sure why that is, but I'll figure it out as we do this and continue to use it. We'll be able to figure out how we can share the screen and how we can show videos and that kind of stuff. I also use another webinar platform called Webinar Jam, and that is to do some other live webinars. But again, this one is so that it works directly in Facebook and makes it so convenient. Facebook is one of the most effective ways of marketing to your audience and to your clients. Sorry, my dog was chewing on something down there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the things that, of course, we're doing here at Falco K9 Academy. We'll talk about maybe some of the people we've met in our classes, and we'll interview them and have them be part of this live event. We will talk about something that happened today. Today with Falco K9 Academy, I was interviewed by some of the executives over at a very, well, there's only how many? There's 3 of us, Animal Planet. And so I had a great interview with these executives. They were from London, England, New York, and Los Angeles. We all met together on the phone, and they had some questions about what it is we were doing with that new show they have asked me to produce. And so the production of that show is going really well. They like the creative structure of the show, and it's just fantastic. I'm so happy that we had that meeting. So that is some news that we would give to our audience that, you know, you want to make sure and stay attuned to what it is we're doing. We're going to be casting for that show very soon. And so I encourage anybody who has seen that flyer that's on our Facebook page to send an email to Lime Pictures and get in the casting for that particular thing. Sorry, I just clapped right into the microphone. And then what we'll do is we'll talk about some of the news of things that I have noticed around here. So we got German Shepherd Rescue of Orange County. They were just in a big rescue and brought tons of dogs over from Devore. And they were just very instrumental in saving these dogs from a life of just essentially torture, I guess is what you want to say. These dogs were not cared for, just 30-something dogs, something like that. I don't know all the details, but we'll be talking about news that's happening here locally with us and that kind of stuff. And then what I want to do is I want to go online, because I do find lots of stuff online that we can discuss. Like in Hong Kong right now, they have an outdated law holding back guide dogs in the training of the guide dogs prior to the person with the disability getting the dog. And so what's happening is that it's making things difficult for the dogs to be trained in their natural environment. And so more than 40 years after the city got its first guide dog, those training them to help visually impaired people cannot have the dogs live with them in public housing and have no right to take them on public transport. So very, very strange. So they're training these dogs for the blind, but yet, unlike here in the United States, the people that are helping train these dogs and prepare them for the people that are blind, they cannot take them into their houses if they live in public housing, and they cannot take them into public. And so in other words, these dogs can't get trained in a manner that is going to be beneficial to the person who's blind. So more than 4 decades after the first guide dog arrived in Hong Kong from probably the United States, I'm guessing, guide dog trainers say they are still hampered by legal obstacles. While Hong Kong laws give visually impaired people the right to use public facilities with their guide dogs, the same right has not been extended to the people who train the animals. This means, for example, that a trainer living in public housing cannot keep a trainee guide dog in their home and have no right to take a dog into a restaurant or a public transport. Raymond Chong Wei Man, chairman of Hong Kong Seeing Eye Dog Services, says the failure to change laws so that they cover certified trainers accompanying guide dogs is a major obstacle to promoting the use of guide dogs in the city. Hong Kong has had its first guide dog in 1975 when the legislation legislation has remained the same since then. He said laws in places such as the United States and Australia have been amended to give trainers the same rights as accompanying guide dogs as visually impaired people. So important. I met my wife originally as she was raising a guide dog for Guide Dogs of America. And I remember being with her during 2 of those dogs. And we took those dogs everywhere, to restaurants, to amusement parks, to places up in Big Bear and that kind of stuff. And it's very, very important as we are taking these dogs into the environments that they eventually will be working with the people. So very strange that for this not to be in 2016 to continue to be an issue even in Hong Kong. There was a thing that I read here later in the article, and let me try to find this thing because it gave some numbers. So Chang, who set up Hong Kong's first guide dog training center and bred the first locally trained guide dog in 2012. Wow, 2012 was the first locally trained guide dog in Hong Kong. Said the public had become more accepting of guide dogs on public transport and in restaurants over the years. In practice, bus drivers in Hong Kong often use their discretion to let trainers board their vehicles with guide dogs. Chung said, but the fact is, it isn't covered by any law, could cause problems. What if there's an accident? The insurance won't cover the guide dogs and the trainers because they aren't protected by the law, he said. Chung said bus companies had offered to let trainers conduct guide dog training in empty buses, but he said that completely defeated the purpose of the training. Exactly. What good is it to train a dog on buses that are empty? The whole issue is a crowded bus. How does the dog handle being on the crowded bus? The most important part of the training is to get the dogs used to the environment that they're in, the cars, the crowds, the smells. They need to train in real life situations. How can they be trained in an empty bus? Exactly. I should have read this. He said he was speaking ahead of International Guide Dog Day, which falls on the last Wednesday of April each year. Here we are. Where are those numbers? Oh, here they are. There are some 40 guide dogs in use in the city. Only 40. That's a fairly populated city. So there's only 40 guide dogs in the city of Hong Kong. But according to the International Guide Dog Federation, around 1,700 visually impaired Hong Kongers out of a total of 170,000 have asked for guide dogs. HKSEDS says it takes about 2 years for a visually impaired person in the city to get a guide dog. And there are between 20 and 30 people on their waiting list. Chung said removing the legal hurdles to guide dog training would make it easier to alleviate the city's shortage of guide dogs and trainers. Oh, can you imagine that? 40 guide dogs. There's 1,700 visually impaired Hong Kongers, and 170,000 have asked for a guide dog. That is really strange. That doesn't make any sense as I'm reading this. Around 1,700 visually impaired, but yet 170,000 have asked for guide dogs. Maybe they're including deaf. Maybe they're including other types of dogs, but that doesn't make any sense. Maybe I'm wrong. So what we want to do is we want to cover some of these news articles. And this is a really important one. I mean, in Hong Kong, millions of people live in China, and they have these hurdles that these dogs are very useful. I've seen them in action. Again, I met my wife while she was raising dogs for Guide Dogs of America, and they are so useful. And you have a highly populated country like China that is just having such difficulty with the proper training of dogs. And the cost of us training dogs here in the United States and shipping them to China has to be astronomical. I get dogs from Europe, from Ireland. Each dog that I import from Ireland costs about $1,500 alone just for shipping the dog over here. So I only can believe that shipping a dog to Hong Kong has to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about $2,000, based on all the things that need to happen to get a dog over there. And this would be such a money saver if they just simply change the laws to allow trainers to just walk around the city of Hong Kong with the dogs. The most popular breed of guide dogs in Hong Kong and around the world are Labrador Retrievers, of course, which are known for their gentle temperament and are of suitable size and strength. Ching said, with more guide dogs being born and bred in Hong Kong, the government needed to amend laws to allow proper training of them. The first 4 locally bred guide dogs were born in 2015, and 5 more puppies intended for guide dog training were born in 2016. I think there's an opportunity over there for us dog trainers, and it's just 5. 5 dogs has just recently been bred. 2015. This is so crazy. I'm so glad I read this article. And this is kind of stuff I want to talk about on Falco K9 on the Falco K9 News Show. We'll come up with another name that'll be a little bit more easier to roll off the tongue, but it was the thing that I could come up quickest to launch this test of what it is we were doing. But these are the things I want to talk about. I want to talk about the news that's happening at Falco K9 Academy. The news is happening locally here in Orange County with dogs as a whole, whether it's police dogs, guide dogs, train the trainer programs, our membership sites, and what's happening with them. We're going to have all that news. But around the world, there's so many unusual things happening with dogs around the world that I want to report on and bring to our audience. So that is what I want to do here with this Facebook page. And I'm hoping that that is coming across in this particular thing. I'll have some videos that we will be able to bring on this television here that will be added. I know that we can share the screen and do things here in Google Hangouts where this is actually being broadcast from, and in our YouTube page. And we can continue to use the content that's recorded as we are going live. So then it becomes recorded, and then we put it right back into the system, and allows us to gain audience, to create trust, and allow people to like what it is we're doing and trust us that we're going to give them free information that is good for them and their dogs. We're going to talk about things about feeding dogs raw and natural, and taking care of their dogs, and how to train their dogs better. It's all going to be here in our Facebook page. And so I hope this was interesting to whoever's still on. I'm not even sure who's on, because I'm still not. Is there some reason why our viewers cannot chat in the message? If maybe on your phone, if you're watching on your phone, you can't do that, but we'll figure it all out. We'll get it all handled, and we'll get things figured out as we continue to use this platform. And here, hello Andy, I found the conversation button. Click the select button to answer a question. Okay, I got it. Oh, there's Sally Frost. Hello, Sally Frost. Did you ask me a question? I don't know. I just clicked off the screen, and now I don't even know if I'm still live. I hope I'm still live. Wow. Uh-oh. I might have done something that I shouldn't have done there. Shoot. I hope I didn't lose anybody. Let me look. I'm going to look over here on my page and see if I'm still on. Is it possible that I clicked myself off? It is possible. Let me see. Hello. It is possible that I clicked myself right off of the screen there. Oh, there I am. I see it now. Hello, Sally Frost. I clicked over to your page, and I just completely lost the screen. I think that I clicked right off. All right, there we go. If you're still on, that's fantastic. I cannot tell because I cannot see the screen that I was on before. I removed myself as usual. Man, I got to learn not to click around on this page, because when I do, things just happen and people are gone. All right, so if you're still watching me, I don't know if you are, because I can't see where it was because I clicked on it, but there you go. All right, I'll see you at the next one. Take care. Bye. I guess I'm still on. I don't see how I can turn this off. Oh, there we are. I found us. I'm glad I didn't do something silly like pick my nose. I don't see. All right, gang. This is so much fun. There was a completely different window that went behind all the other screens I have up on my screen here. So this is it. I will maybe edit it later on, but I hope this was mostly a successful test. I can see that I still have 2 viewers on, so it's probably Sally who's watching and seeing me create these errors and what it is I'm doing. But this is the fun part of learning new stuff and trying to figure it all out. That there is this learning curve as we begin to use the, learn the new technology. I heard all the barking back, I think that adds to it. It shows that we actually are a dog training facility, that we have dogs out there that are being picked up from the doggy daycare, which is next door, and they're being taken out. But there we go. Now I can officially sign off because I know that I'm still on the air. And Sally or Gina and whoever else may still be on here, make sure and send some comments about whether you think this is going to be a good format, whether it's going to work or not, as we begin to do this more often. I think I got most of the issues worked out. It's so strange because I'm seeing these YouTube comments, but not seeing anything on my side where it should show that people are watching what it is that we're doing. It's such a strange thing. So I don't know if you, again, on the phone, you can't comment or what it is. But as soon as I talk to you guys, I'm sure you'll let me know. Why do dogs eat poop? Oh, there we go. There's the question. Why do dogs eat poop? That is a really, really good question. You know, in most cases, the reason dogs eat poop is because they saw their mom eat poop. And so if a dog is kept in the whelping box or with their mom past 6 to 8 weeks, you know, into the 9-week area, as they see their mom, because that's when the eyes begin to open, they begin to focus and that kind of stuff. They begin to see their mom doing that. The dog picks up that habit of eating poop. The second reason, or another reason why dogs eat poop, is because it's tasty, and they begin to acquire a taste, just like eating sea urchin if you're a sushi eater. I don't like sea urchin, but some people do, and people acquire a taste. Dogs acquire a taste for it. There is some people who believe it's because a dog is lacking something and they're finding what they're lacking in eating the poop. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it becomes more of a flavor thing and it becomes interesting. People eat some horrendous things. So just because we think of it as poop, it doesn't mean that a dog thinks of it as the same thing. There's some tastiness to it. You know, dogs smell butts. Dogs do some really gross things. And so I'm not sure that eating poop is really gross to the dog. But there are some things you can put in the dog's food when they're eating to cause the poop to change flavor, to have something that actually repels your dog from eating the poop. And they sell it at feed stores, and PetSmart, Petco's, I'm sure, have it. And you can find it on the internet. It's an additive into the food that they eat that makes the poop change the flavor that will repel a dog from it. But it is not pleasant, and it's not anything complicated. I don't think it's because your dog is missing out on anything. It's either they had visually seen their mother in the whelping box, you know, eating the poop and thinking that that's exactly, because dogs are great replicators. They watch other dogs do stuff and they will replicate it. Dogs learn from other dogs all the time. And so that's one issue. The other thing is that an acquired taste, and they begin to like it and becomes a really bad habit. So there you go. You may want to find some of that additive to put into the dog's food to see if they stop eating their poop. All right. Hope that answers your question. And I'm going to hit done. Look at that. I just learned a brand new thing. Hello, Andrew. I found the conversation button. Oh, select. Is that you? Hello. Hello. I'm glad you found the conversation button. Done. Perfect. Look at that. We are learning some stuff here. All right. Well, that was a great test. I really appreciate Sally, you being on here, and Gino, however long you're on here, and whoever else is on here. I really appreciate your time that you took to be on here to help me make sure that all these things were working. And we are going to bring some really cool stories. I have some stories in the queue here that I didn't want to bring out yet because this is a test and we don't have very much of an audience, but we're going to build the audience. We're going to create interest in what it is we're doing, and I'll bring some of those stories out, and I think it'll work out very, very well. All right. Well, thank you very much. You know, it's funny. I keep seeing 1 viewer, 2 viewer, 3 viewers, and it kind of pops back and forth. But whoever's watching, make sure and stay tuned for what it is we're doing. I think we're going to just have a really good time bringing all this news to you about what it is we're doing and about the dog news that's happening around the world. And we're gonna have some good times. All right. I will talk to you later. Take care. I'm going to stop broadcasting now for sure that I know where the button is. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.